Good morning and welcome to Stock Market Today for Wednesday, July 24th, 2019. I am your host, Dan Russo, the Chief Market Strategist at Chaikin Analytics. Find me on Twitter. I'm at Dan Russo _CMT. Stock Market Today brought to you today and every day by Chaikin Analytics. Head over to chaikinanalytics.com/today. Sign up for a free email. Follow along with this show. Get daily stock ideas for you to consider. Hit your inbox every trading day before the market opens. Special thanks to stockcharts.com for hosting this show every day in the 9:15 slot, and to See It Market for publishing our work each and every trading day. U.S. equities closed higher on Tuesday, near the best levels of the day. Materials, industrials, and financials outperformed, while utilities, energy, and comm services lagged. Treasuries were weaker, with some curves steepening. The 10-year, 3-month spread actually turned positive on the day. The dollar was stronger on the major crosses. Gold was down 40 basis points, and WTI crude added 1%. Trade was the main driver of the move higher yesterday after reports suggested U.S. trade negotiators were heading to China on Monday. However, this was an expected meeting. Additionally, earnings season continues to roll on. Percentage of companies beating estimates remains elevated, and comments suggest that domestic demand remains strong despite a slowdown globally. As we get to the desk this morning, though, futures are down 30 basis points as antitrust concerns weigh on large technology stock. Asian markets are higher overnight, with China and Australia leading. European markets are mixed. Treasuries are mostly stronger. Dollar is weaker versus the yen. Gold up 30 basis points. WTI crude up 30 basis points. And after a small pullback, S&P 500 pushed higher, back above the 3,000 mark. Trade headlines led a bid to equities on the day. Support still in that 2,900 to 2,950 zone. We'll keep resistance at the 3,000 area for now because futures are trading lower here this morning, though I will note we did close above 3,000 yesterday. RSI is holding in bullish ranges, and Chaikin money flow is bullish for the index. Now, for those of you who read my note every day, in today's note, we highlight the fact that money flow has actually turned bearish for the SPY. Seems to be a little bit of a differentiation between the index and the ETF. But as we look at the index level, which we're looking at here, Chaikin money flow is bullish. RSI continues to hold in those bullish ranges, holding above 50 on pullbacks. That is signs of momentum confirmation to an uptrend in price. And that's something we want to see continue to hold should the market pull back and test the highs of the range, 2950, the highs of the support range, that is. But for now, we're staying the course. Continue to focus on bullish and very bullish stocks and leading industry groups, and look for those stocks when they become oversold. Strategy for now has not changed. Your market in a minute. What am I talking about in my note to Chaikin Analytics clients today? Reports of the U.S.-China trade meeting send stocks higher on the day. We hit on that. Tech is under pressure here this morning on antitrust concerns. DOJ coming out last night and saying that they were looking into opening an investigation into antitrust issues against some of the large technology companies. Think Facebook, Amazon, Google, Apple, names like that. So that has Nasdaq futures under a bit of pressure here this morning. Sentiment signals move towards fear this week. Slightly. Small caps underperform, but small cap momentum is a bright spot. We'll take a look at that a little bit later in the show. And as I said, futures do point to a lower open here today. Now, obviously a good day across the board for markets yesterday, and that helped power bar ratios for the major indices move higher. 75 rather, bulls to bears for the Dow as it tacked on 63 bips yesterday. S&P 500 up 70 basis points, 135 bulls, 74 bears. Nasdaq actually saw a bit of deterioration despite the 65 basis point rise yesterday. 33 bulls, 13 bears, so back to less than 3-to-1 bulls to bears. Small caps were an inline performer, 530 bulls, 318 bears. Bonds downtick, sending yields higher. And materials had a really strong day yesterday, up 2%. 4 bulls, 0 bears, 21 names are neutral. And remember, for the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about improving relative strength in the materials, starting to play out. According to the Chaikin Power Bar, small cap stocks and large cap stocks are somewhat bullish. Major markets across the board, however, are mixed. Taking a look at our stock of the day now. Reinsurance Group. Ticker symbol RGA closed at 158.54, up 88 basis points yesterday. RGA has a very bullish Chaikin power gauge rating to attractive financial metrics and very positive expert activity. The earnings and technical component are neutral. But the 20 factors, 5 in each of these 4 categories, give us this very bullish rating. Strong trend, strong industry group. type of name we want to consider looking at. But here I've dropped down the checklist, and you can see it really is a mixed bag. You can see it from looking at the chart, right? We've gone from an underperformer to just starting to outperform, but there's no real intensity there. So we have to be careful, of what happened back in early June. At the same time, money flow is bearish. Stock is above the long-term trend line, did trigger a breakout, a relative strength, a breakout buy signal yesterday, but I think it's a mixed bag here. I think with, the market trading up near its highs, some back and forth on trade, I don't think you need to chase a name like this when the setup is mixed, right? We've dropped down the checklist and you can see, right? 3 green check marks, but 3 neutral marks as well. Kind of sets up as a mixed bag. I think that there are probably better opportunities out there in the insurance group, which is leading for investors to do work on. I don't think you necessarily need to chase this here, but we don't just dismiss it, right? Auto-generated by our algorithm, let's add it to a bullish watch list. And if the situation improves, we can look for an opportunity to get involved. Taking a look at our sector tracker now. Movement of the major sectors over the last 5 days. Tech at the top of the list, but that's going to come under pressure here today. Materials, we've been talking about it for the past 2.5 weeks, really since I came back from vacation. Materials are starting to show some signs of relative strength. Financials, we'd love to see the financials get in gear, especially the banks. We'd love to see the banks join insurance and start to outperform the market to put the financials group, put the market in agreement with what we're seeing in our model. Energy and staples round out the top 5. All 5 groups higher over the past 5 days. Healthcare, industrials, and discretionary are middle of the road. Utes, REITs, and comms, the bottom of the list. I think utilities and real estate, I think the equity names, the bond proxies did a really good job of discounting the move lower in rates. And now they have started to waver a little bit on a relative basis. And look what happened shortly thereafter. 10-year yield kind of stopped going down. Equities in this regard were a good proxy and a good discounting mechanism for the move in rates. Longer-term trends are still up, but near-term, from a relative performance standpoint, utilities and real estate have come under pressure. We touched on this in our note yesterday. Our industry in focus today, transportation services. And it's a bit of a mixed bag here, and you're going to see why in just a moment. Over the past 6 months, the group's underperformed the S&P 500 by 8.4%. However, its power bar ratio, which measures future potential, is strong. 9 bullish stocks, 7 bearish stocks. It's ranked 13 of 21 subsectors. It's moved up 1 slot over the past week. So what happens in a situation like this, where we could potentially be making the turn, right? The fundamentals are starting to shift, but the group is still an underperformer. Stock selection within the group really becomes important. You really have to focus here and make sure you're not owning anything over here. Right? So some of the indicative names with very bullish or bullish ratings: Delta Airlines, DAL, with a very bullish ratings, United Airline, UAL, with a very bullish rating, and Hawaiian Holdings, HA, with a bullish rating. And out of these 3 stocks, Delta sets up the best. And still, again, it's not the best setup given the market environment, but of those 3 stocks, Delta sets up the best. And you can quickly see that using the checklist. Very bullish stock, strong trends, strong industry group, right? Power gauge rating is very bullish, check. Outperforming the market, check. In a strong industry group, check. However, from a timing standpoint, we have some concerns. Overbought, oversold indicator is middle of the road. It's neutral. We are above the rising long-term trend line, so that is a positive. However, money flow persistency is neutral, right? We've gone from bullish to neutral here, and I don't like when I see Chaikin money flow bearish with a stock near a 52-week high. To me, that could be a sign that investors are taking the strength in the stock and using that as an opportunity to lighten up their positions or maybe come out of them completely. I think that Delta is the best looking stock of those 3. I don't think you necessarily need to get involved here today, especially with kind of a mixed bag on the industry group. It's making the change. It's trying to make a transition from bearish to bullish. I think you can wait this one out. I'd rather see this overbought, oversold indicator hit down to oversold levels, and I want to see money flow improve. But let's keep Delta in mind, put it on a bullish watch list. Things can change quickly in this market. All right, let's look at yesterday's S&P 500 gainers and losers. A lot of it is earnings related, right? The entire left side of the board here is earnings related. Hasbro's earnings sent the stock higher. by 9.95%. And CEO Brian Gollner was on Jim Cramer's show last night. Sherwin-Williams, 7.84% following their print. SWK, earnings sent that stock higher by 7.2%. Harley-Davidson, HOG, up 6.4% following their earnings announcement. Coca-Cola, big move higher, 6.07%. We started highlighting in one of our notes yesterday the consumer staples. Coca-Cola helped that group move higher yesterday. Pulte Homes, down 8.3%. Following earnings, although the stock did catch an upgrade today. LW, down 5.75%. Zion, down 5.3%. Whirlpool, down nearly 4%. All of those are earnings related. And then INCY, down 3.9%. Didn't see anything company specific to drive the move in that stock. Let's take a look at yesterday's earnings. Biogen IDEC beat by $1.57. Very bullish stock. Avangrid AGR missed by 7 cents. CoStar Group CSGP beat by 22 cents. Travelers TRV missed by 25 cents. Discover DFS had a nice move higher yesterday following their 21-cent earnings beat. Now, calendar remains heavy. Anthem and Thermo, ANTM and TMO trading lower here this morning. AT&T out before the bell. CAT, big name in the industrial landscape. Northrop, big name in the defense area, reporting before the open today, all with bullish ratings. After the close, Citrix, T-Rowe, Facebook going to be the big one, as is PayPal. Bullish stocks after the close today. Neutral names that matter, Nasdaq trading lower. Alexion, UPS, and Boston Sire, names worth checking out here this morning after the close. Xilinx, semiconductor name, Texas Instruments had a good print last night. Cerner, F5, and Varian also on watch. Bearish names ahead of the open today, VFW and GWW and Roll, HP and Orly. Chaikin suggests caution when holding bearish stocks ahead of earnings. Let's dive in and see what we're talking about today. On Wednesdays, we look at sentiment in the marketplace, and it's become less greedy of late. We're taking a look here at the CBOE options equity put call ratio. And we can see that we've kind of come close to areas that have marked near-term tops for the market. Didn't quite get there, and now we're starting to move higher. It's kind of interesting to me that we're starting to move higher with the market really close to all-time highs. Right? There's been a lot of chatter in the marketplace about how this is an unloved bull market. I think this kind of tells you that, right? Investors still seem skittish, right? Any sign of trouble, they're looking for protection. So the market, within a percent and a half of an all-time high. The fact that this is starting to round higher, indicating that investors are buying more puts over calls, that's kind of interesting to me from a sentiment standpoint. I would also highlight, we follow the CNN Fear Greed Index, and it actually moved towards fear this week, ever so slightly, and it's still in a neutral zone. But if you read my note, you'll see that it moved towards fear this week. So sentiment not as frothy as you would think, with the market very close to all-time highs. Now, it is no surprise we've been unabashed bears on small caps, especially on a relative basis, right? You've heard me highlight it here numerous times over the past few months, how we favor large caps over small caps. However, great dynamic playing out in the small cap landscape right now is actually small cap momentum. Momentum is a bright spot in small caps. And here's an ETF that shows us just that. The Invesco DWA Small Cap Momentum ETF has a nice breakout here through resistance above the 200-day moving average. RSI holding in bullish ranges, signaling that momentum is confirming the trend. And really, since the end of April, small cap momentum has been outperforming the SPY. So while small caps remain an underperformer, digging deeper, right, doing that extra bit of analysis that we do for you every day, we can see that small cap momentum is a bright spot, and it makes sense to look through the holdings of DWAS for opportunities that fit the setups that we talk about. And here's one today, Natera Inc., NTRA, highlighting it as my bullish stock of the day today. Bullish stock, strong trend, strong industry group, outperforming the market. Overbought, oversold indicator, rounding out of an oversold position, while Chaikin money flow remains intensely bullish. Stock is above the rising long-term trend line with some support in the $23 to $24 zone. This is the type of name you want to consider on the long side of your portfolio to take advantage of the fact that small cap momentum is doing well on a relative basis. That's going to wrap it up for today. Head over to chaikinanalytics.com/today to sign up for that email. I will be back here tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday, everyone.